Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are doing really well. Today I am in the world of Windenburg. That's right, I finally decided to invest and get together. If you watched my last video, you will know this. The PlayStation Store is, I don't think they're still having it actually, just for the rest of the week, having 50% off pretty much everything besides Island Living and the new Moschino pack. But oh my goodness, I went to town and bought so much stuff, and I've been waiting to buy Get Together for a long time, so I am absolutely thrilled that I have finally gotten both the world of Windenburg and all of these gorgeous Tudor furnishings and siding, and it's just beautiful. Windenburg has already surpassed Brindleton Bay as my favorite world in the game. Sorry, Brindleton Bay, you held the title for so long, but oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful world. You've got a city, you've got country, you've got an island. Like, this is amazing, and it is so beautiful. I can't handle how gorgeous this world is. Trying to find the lot that I wanted to build on was so difficult just because they're all so beautiful. But today I am going to be, like I said, in Windenburg, in the countryside, I believe. Yes, I am in the countryside world on one of the really small, I think it's a 20 by 15, maybe it's 20 by 20. I can't exactly remember. But I am going to be doing a little autumn cottage. This house is so beautiful. It's so cute with all of these new things that I got with Get Together. I believe, not 100% sure, but I do believe that this is my favorite house that I have ever built in The Sims. It is so adorable. It's so homey inside. It just seems like the perfect place to hang out on a crisp fall day. I'm in love. I'm absolutely in love with this build. And this kitchen that I build, I am extremely proud of this kitchen. It's so cluttered. It's so great. I do imagine that the sim that lives here is a single sim, of course. I'm kind of in a habit of building single sim houses. I think it's just because I like to build tiny homes. But anyway, it is a single sim who is kind of a witchy sim, not a witch, because I don't have Realm of Magic yet. So I'm not completely going overboard with my witchy builds. But I imagine that they're kind of like I don't know, kind of like a witch, kind of like a modern day witch. Like they really enjoy growing herbs and creating like maybe at home remedies and like cooking. And I don't know, you'll see once I get inside and once I start furnishing this house. But oh my goodness, I love it. I want to live here. Easily. Oh my gosh, it's so great. But you are seeing me go through the debug menu, or not the debug menu, the show live edit objects menu, to try to find a few things to place here and about. Like I said in my last couple videos, console just recently got that update, so you're going to see a lot of me scrolling through to find just the absolute perfect clutter items and things to make this place look a little bit more homey and cozy. I'm in love with all of the debug and live edit object items at the moment, so prepare for a lot of clutter and a lot of scrolling. I did try to edit out most of it so it wouldn't get too repetitive, but then again, it's how I was working with the build, so just be prepared for that. So a lot of the little like random things that I've got placed around, I might not end up using. I do kind of use them to kind of put the trees where they're supposed to go and make some little ground cover. But anyhow, moving on. The build has pretty much come together. This is the final floor plan that I do end up going with. Very small, like I said, only room enough for one sim, and there really is no living area. They'd have to sit on their bed, but I think it works out really great, and I think it's really super cozy, like I've said for the 100th time. But anyway, I will stop gushing over Get Together now. But you're gonna see me do a little bit more on the exterior. I don't go too crazy. I do come back to the exterior a little bit later on in the build to kind of do a few finishing touches. I do jump around a lot because as I'm scrolling through the debug and the show live edit objects menus, I do keep finding things that I want to use for the exterior and going back outside to place them. So I also apologize if it's a lot of jumping around. These new like debug and show live edit object menus are a little bit overwhelming for me. I do find myself filtering them from time to time, just because there are so many things. Like there's so many objects and they're all so great, and it's just, and since you can't clone them, it's especially difficult. So I've been having a little bit of trouble, but not really. Like it's a great problem to have all of these really great items. But again, I got those fence objects from, I believe, I can't remember what pack they came from, but they are from that live edit objects menu, and putting a few more plants here and there, a couple of flowers at the end of the walkway, as well as a little mailbox. And then I'm going to be moving on to the interior here in a minute. Just wanted to put a little birdhouse, and I also decided to put one of those spires. I think Get Together we get like, I don't know how many spires. I've never had spires before. I'm so excited to use them. And then I put a couple of stairs and a couple of exterior lights. And then I'm cleaning up the terrain paint on that walkway. I've said it a million times. Terrain paint on the PlayStation 4 is tough. It is so hard. The amount of terrain paint, like complete redos that I had to edit out of this are insane, especially for the vegetable garden, which we will get to later. But now you're going to see me move into my favorite part of this entire house is the kitchen. I decided to make a little teeny kitchen in this sort of like whatever you want to call it, the round portion of this house. I do layer a ton of cabinets to kind of make it look very seamless. It's a lot of like really small movements and a lot of detail work, but I love it. Like, I absolutely loved doing this room. It is so cute. It's so homey. I use that wood burning stove that we get with base game. I ended up having to raise it up, as you see, just a little bit off the ground so that it wouldn't clip in with the cabinets and you could see all of the burners. But I did cover up the space below with a couple more cabinets, so it ended up not being too big of a deal. Part of one of the cabinets is clipping into the sink, but I think that the sink is still usable. I have not play tested this build yet. I have made a sim that I think is going to live here, but I'm not exactly sure. And I also put a couple of cabinets inside that refrigerator. It sort of looks just like a shelf, like you can't exactly tell. So it actually looked really, really good once I got the cabinets exactly where I wanted them to be. I do a little bit of arranging just to keep some items from clipping, but this is pretty much how it ends up staying. And here you are seeing me go through the infinite clutter menus trying to find things that I want to place in on the counters. And I do end up placing a bunch of floating shelves around the top because I wanted the cabinets to be cluttered, obviously, but I wanted like so many other cute little items around and about that I could place around as like witchy clutter and a lot of herbs and things like that. So I ended up putting all of these floating shelves that also came from Get Together around the upper part of this kitchen so that I could put spices and things like that on them. So I did keep most of me cluttering up this kitchen in this video. It does get a little bit repetitive, but I'm just so proud of this kitchen and how it turned out that I couldn't bear to like cut any out of it. So you're gonna hear me talk through the clutter quite a bit, but that's totally fine. I was having a bit of trouble with some of these clutter items clipping to the top of the roof. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, you're seeing a few of these, they end up clipping to the top of the roof line, and I wasn't sure why. Still not quite sure why they kept clipping there, but I did struggle quite a bit with trying to get things to fit on these floating shelves. Some of the items, like those little jars of chilies that I just placed, they clip very, very well to the floating shelves. A lot of other items don't. So it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of raising items and turning on the free movement cheat to try to get them to sit where I wanted them to. But it looks so good when it's finished. I'm so excited for y'all to see it here in a couple of minutes. But going through, I really like all of these like herb items that we have in the debug menu, like the sage and basil. Like, that's so cute. I don't know why I've never like taken the time to use them. I think a lot of times clutter can be like really not boring, because I love cluttering things up. It's just very tedious. It takes forever to try to find the things that you want, and then placing them is also a hassle. But I loved doing this kitchen so much. I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, I've spent so long cluttering up this kitchen. I've not even realized it. But I do add that cutting board from the debug menu to put some of the like asparagus and a couple of other veggies on. And I also use that little smaller cutting board that already has some of the vegetables laid out on it. I thought that was a really, really nice touch. And I was having a bit of trouble trying to get some of the debug vegetables to kind of sit different places, but I think I figured it out in the end to how to get it to where it sort of looks good. I also found several plant objects in like both the debug menu and just the normal menu to size down and put on those shelves a little bit too, just to make sure that there were no spaces on these top shelves. But I've got like a bag of coffee, and I found a couple of like those medicine debug items that kind of have like an amber bottle sort of look to them. Found all of that stuff to put up in there, and it just looks so, so good. This is my dream kitchen. I don't care how small it is. I want it. It's so cute. And then of course added a couple of pumpkins for good measure. Turned that green jack-o'-lantern around so it just looks like a normal pumpkin. My husband said it kind of looks like a cookie jar because the head kind of comes off, but it could be a cookie jar, whatever, but it's so cute. And then moving on to sort of the rest of the house, trying to figure out a look for this interior. I do decide to go with the sort of a similar to the exterior, but one that doesn't have so much detail for the walls. I thought that was kind of nice. And then I went with floors from, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't exactly remember. I think they're from Jungle Adventure. I tried like several different floor kinds, and I really like the way that this plank wood floor kind of looked. I was gonna make a separate bedroom, and it would have probably fit, and I would have had enough room for like a small couch and stuff, but I decided against it. I decided not to put any more walls in this home, and I just moved the bed to that corner right there. And decided to leave it at that to kind of make the bed the place where your Sims can sit and watch TV. But I am putting in a little tiny circular dining table with those wood chairs that we also got from Get Together. This is my Get Together build. It's not exclusively Get Together, of course, but I was just so excited to use all of the new items. And then putting a couple more clutter items around and about, putting that cute little vintage teapot on that table. And then I do scroll through and find a couple of coffee mugs just to make it look like they just sat down for coffee, two friends, just having a laugh. Just so cute, so homey. And then I put that sort of little basket of blankets down at the end of the bed. And I did decide to go with this cats and dogs bed instead, just because the quilt was so autumnal and that red color is so pretty. So I decided to go with that instead. I also put this sort of like, it's got the stained glass windows in it. I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of like a window seat, but you can't sit on there. It will not clip items. I was really disappointed actually that I was not able to clip items to that. I do find a way around it, which you're going to see here in a minute, which I cut most of it out because it was a long, tedious process. But I did figure out how to get items to sit on that window seat. But here you see me size down this bookcase that came with Strangerville. Strangerville was another game pack that I picked up with the PS4 sale. I've not had a chance to really play it and dig into it yet, but it looks fantastic. This bookshelf is one of my favorite items. It's so thin, it's easy to push up against a wall without taking up like half the room. So I was really excited to use this, and I kind of snuck the TV in there to give your Sims like a place to put a TV at least and something to do. And you are seeing me finally be able to put things on that little ledge. So what I had to do was turn on move objects to free move, and then completely turn the camera around to the outside of the house. And then it would let me place things, and I couldn't really see because the windows aren't clear, but it finally made it able for me to place that quill as well as a couple of books and like my writing desk and some candles just for something kind of cozy. It's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted more of like a desk area, at least for looks, but it works. I think it looks really, really sweet. It kind of reminds me of my Hobbit build that I made not too long ago. So you should scroll through and check that out if you want some similar vibe to this. But putting a few little clutter things outside, I really like those pumpkin items from Seasons. And then I put a couple more flower items around and about because the Sim cannot have too much flowers. That's how I imagine whoever lives here. And then I'm going to go through and put a little bit of exterior lighting outside. Of course, I've got to use the Get Together lights because they're just so pretty. And then you're going to see me move to the little tiny entryway. I don't go too crazy with this entryway just because it is so small and it's very similar to all my others. Of course, I want to use the umbrellas and all of those things. And then putting a couple more details around and about. I really wanted to use that item that has the sort of like milk jug with this twigs coming out of it. I thought that was really, really pretty, but alas, it didn't necessarily work. I just really like the basket of like fruit and that's sitting on there. But anyhow, you're also seeing me put a few cobwebs and sort of like not holes in the wall, but like sort of plaster indentations. I don't know. I thought that kind of fit the vibe of this house. It's not necessarily dirty. It's just kind of old. I don't know. It kind of, when I was thinking about it, I was like, it kind of reminds me of where the 7 dwarfs live in Snow White, how they don't necessarily keep it clean and there's just cobwebs everywhere, but it's still really cute and homey. And I thought that was kind of nice. And to kind of fill out this wall a little bit, you are seeing me put a couple more floating shelves just covered in plants. I thought that was really cute, especially with the morning sun coming through that window right there. I thought that was really cute. I also considered putting a cat in this house, and I might go back and do that. I'm not completely decided, but I thought a cat might look really, really sweet. And there you're seeing me put that broom item on the wall, as well as that really, really cute like tea feature. Like they've got like little teapots and things like that as like a wall hanging. I think that's adorable. I absolutely love that. And because I couldn't get my basket of fruit on that little box to fit in here, I decided to make my own little basket. And of course, have to scroll through the debug menu to find all of these individual pieces of fruit to put in there, which took a little bit, but it ends up being really sweet. And I couldn't really tell that it wasn't supposed to fit in there. So I was really, really pleased with that. And just putting in another plant in the corner right here. And that is pretty much the end of the main living area for this build. I am going on to the bathroom. You'll know that bathrooms are not my favorite thing to do. This one's really cute. It's really basic. I don't know. I need some inspiration for like really, really cute bathrooms. So if I just need to get on Pinterest and try to find something that's going to jog my creativity a bit. I get really bored with my bathrooms. They're all kind of the same: shower, tub, toilet, sink, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. That sounds so bad, but like, I like bathrooms, but my Sims spends so much little time in there that it doesn't really spark any creativity for me. So let me know if you also have that problem, because some people build such gorgeous bathrooms and all of mine are just blech to me. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to move back outside to put a few last minute little items around and about. I had to make a pumpkin patch with a couple of other vegetables. I just think it's so cute. Again, pulling from my Hobbit vibes that I had earlier. Just putting in a couple of little shrubs that kind of look like carrots or cabbages or whatever you like, and adding a little bit of shadowing. I also decide to put in a couple of piles of leaves from seasons, as well as some beekeeper houses and a couple of planters. And that's pretty much it for this build. So let me know if it's also your favorite house that I've ever done, or if I'm just alone in that opinion. And let me know if you'd like, what else you'd like to see me build this fall. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.